Hello everyone, welcome back to our AI learning series. So in a previous session we explored different AI tools that can help the students learn better. And today we will learn something even more important to make use of those AI tools. So which is called as prompt engineering. So you may have used tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude before, but have you ever noticed that sometimes AI gives excellent answers while other times the response is not useful? And the reason is usually the prompt we give. In this session, let's understand how asking better question helps us get a better answers from AI. So it is very important to ask the right question to the AI to get the right answers. So what are the learning outcomes? By this end of the session, you will understand what a prompt is, okay, and why it actually plays an important role in using this AI. And we'll also learn why AI gives right answers, difficult answers to different people, and when they ask about the same topic. So finally, we'll see a simple method to write better prompts that can help you with assignments, coding, presentations, and interview preparation. Okay, so we'll go topic by topic. So what is a prompt? So what exactly is a prompt? A prompt is simply the instruction or a question we give it to an AI tool. So think of it like asking a teacher for help. Okay, if your question is clear, you usually get a clear answer from the teacher. Same way applies here. But if your question is confusing or incomplete, the answer may not be useful. So the same rule applies to AI. The better you prompt, the better the response is. Why does AI gives different answers to different people for the same prompt? So now let's understand why AI gives different answers. The first reason is the way we ask the question. Okay, a short or a vague question usually gives a general answer, a very generic answer, or a very vague prompt, what we call it as. So but when we provide a more details, and AI can understand what actually we need. It also helps if you mention the purpose, the audience, the format, the example, what are the things we expect. So the better the instructions always lead to the better results. Okay, so what is the structure of a good prompt? So how do you say the prompt is good? So writing a good prompt is actually very simple. Just remember 5 things that I'm saying here. First, mention the role, like asking AI to act as a teacher or interviewer or an engineer or a doctor. So personifying. Next, clearly explain the task. Then provide some context, such as your subject or level or the study or the documents you need to give. So that has to be uploaded rightly. Finally, mention the format you want, how you want it to look, whether in Excel, whether in a table, whether it is in a Word, PDF, bullet point, summary, along with any limits. Okay, so follow the simple structure. It gives you a much better responses. Okay, assigning the assignment example, I could say I can give you simple examples, like suppose you ask AI explain artificial intelligence. The answers probably will be what is Gen AI, so it will give an answer what is artificial intelligence. But instead, if you ask a question like you act as an engineering professor and explain artificial intelligence in a very simple language with 3 examples for a final year student or a first year student or a second year student, the response becomes much more useful because you have given the clear instructions how you wanted it to be presented. For example, I can give you another coding example. The same idea it applies to writing code. If you simply ask write a Python code, so what do you think an AI will write? It can write any kind of code because it has a hell number of informations with it. So AI doesn't know what actually is needed by its user. So instead, you explain the topic, you tell the difficulty level, and you ask the comments or the requirements you need. Then the more specific your prompt is, the more accurate the code will be. Okay, I'll give you another interview example. Okay, so now let's see one more example. Like instead of asking give interview questions, it can give any questions to attend any kind of interview. But what interview are you going to attend is what something only you know. So you have to ask the AI to act as an HR interviewer, and you ask me 5 interview questions for a software engineering internship. So after each answer you need to give a feedback. Okay, so this is how you ask. So instead of without telling anything, if you ask an interview questions, it can act as anything. Okay, so now AI knows its role, its purpose, and the format it needs to give you. So before we finish, so I would like to give you the golden rules. Remember the simple rules, like always be specific, don't be vague, provide the enough context what you need, and tell AI what role it has to play to get your answers, and mention the format you expect. So what kind of format you want to give, get the format you expect. And if you're not happy with the first answers, don't stop, improve your prompt and ask again and again, which we call as a step-by-step prompting. So prompt engineering is a skill that actually improves you with practice. So the more of practice, the better prompt it leads to. So let's quickly summarize what today's session was. So a prompt is simply the instruction that is given to AI. A clear prompt will always produce the better results. So using the role, task, context, format, approach, it helps us to communicate more effectively with AI. As an engineering student, learning how to write good prompt will save your time, it will improve your learning, it will help you use AI more effectively. Okay, so thank you everyone, and keep exploring AI, keep practicing, and remember, the quality of your question often decides the quality of the answer. Thank you.